In this video, we'll compare two really popular Roblox train games, Stepford County Railway and British Railway. So, obviously, the main difference between these games is quality and quantity. SCR has a bigger map and more trains, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's better. British Railway is not far behind, and arguably all of its content is far higher quality. Better sounds, actually good looking rails. I mean, look at these cartoon rails in SCR, what is this? Actual pantographs and engines, way better modelled trains, a passenger camera, each coach is also a camera, you can also stop the camera, and the scenery is just great. Let's compare Avonhill to Rayleigh Bay, two extensions that released around the same time. First of all, Avonhill gets us 5 new stations, whereas Rayleigh Bay gets us only 3. Hi guys, Editor here. Small correction, Fleetwood opened in July 2023 and Avonhill in April 2024. They were not one extension, they were 2 extensions, so the Avonhill extension has 3 stations. The semaphore signals at Rayleigh Bay are great, but just look at the difference in scenery, it's unbelievable. I think we can easily say British Railway takes the cake here. Although it has less trains and routes, the quality is just insane. I can't really blame SCR too much, they are working with a codebase from 2018, back when the big update happened, but things like pantographs or meshed rails don't take 6 years to make. Sure, it's difficult to mesh the entire map, so do it in segments. The meshed trains are all out now, so there is absolutely no excuse to not mesh the rails as well. And that's not even the main thing SCR lacks. Some supposedly electrified lines, like the express trench between Benton and Hampton Hargate, still lack overhead wires. The optimization of these games is another interesting point, specifically the lack of optimization in SCR. I like to grind both SCR and British Railway on mobile when I'm on the move, and I like to play on PC for fun. And the difference is astonishing. British Railway plays so much smoother and it still looks better than SCR. Once again, I think this might be an aging issue, but there are no excuses. On mobile and SCR, at graphics quality 2, the Stepford area is unplayable if there's any other trains. It's like 3 FPS. In British Railway, on the most traffic intensive branch, from Victoria Docks to Leeton, there's no lag. Another part of the optimization is obviously network lag. In British Railway, everything played smoothly even when dropping to 2 to 3 out of 4 bars on 4G signal. In SCR, the train doesn't lag, it seems to be client-side. However, the other parts of the game, map loading, distance to station, as soon as I drop below 3, I'm lucky I don't overshoot the biggest of stations, because the distance calculation just breaks. And God forbid, if there is another train, it's not even playable sometimes. I swear, it's easier to disconnect from lag on SCR mobile than it is to touch grass. And by the time it syncs back up, I'm gonna be married and in my 30s. I don't blame the devs. They are hopefully doing the best they can. But seriously, when the game has been out for 6 years, and it can't work on the latest Xiaomi phone, let alone a phone from 2018, there is something seriously wrong with the code. I'd have no problem with the 1000 Robux Game Pass and supporting the devs if I could play the game. Not only that, but for like a month in February, I couldn't even play the game for more than 5 minutes, because every time I played it for too long, it would crash my graphics card. No other Roblox game did this. No other game did this. If my PC can run GTA 5 at max settings but crashes in SCR, I think the issue might just be SCR. And of course, in British Railway, not only did it not crash, it ran buttery smooth. Sure, SCR is a good game, but please, for the love of God, optimize it. On high render distances, Despite my GTX 1650 begging to be used, the edge of the world is so close to the front of my train, while behind it stretches on for miles. When my train is at LC heading for Stepford Central, it often won't load Rocket Parade yet, but behind me I can see almost clearly to Rayleigh Bay, Edgemead and Famey on max render. If British Railway can have a real-time moving map, high graphics detail, a relatively large map, and not lag, then SCR can do it too if the devs put in the effort. Okay, this part easily goes to British Railway, and the issue is not the sounds, it's the network. SCR has more routes than stations, and it has express to Newry Harbour. Sorry, what? Aside from that, of course, there is the sound quality, the look and feel. British Railway just takes this category easy. And then we get to the driving system. The old SCR driving system used to be easy to use, but unrealistic. The new system is also relatively easy to get the hang of, and a step in the right direction, but it's just not my personal preference. Trains work by accelerating and braking, not by setting a target speed. British Railway's driving system excels at this. It has a simple and not so simple mode. The simple mode allows you to manage throttle and brakes on one slider, and the complicated one separates them. It takes like one day to get the hang of it, arguably easier than SCR, because it's more intuitive, similar to how you drive a car. If you want to accelerate, you accelerate. If you need to brake, you brake. Also, British Railway has a certain assist that SCR desperately needs. It's the distance indicator for stop markers. This would solve so many noob overshoot issues in SCR. There's a reason all 357s overshoot, but you rarely see a 142 in British Railway overshoot. The system is intuitive, easy to use, and allows you to easily hit the marker without even knowing the ins and outs of the driving system. Also, British Railway has speeding fines, which is a great system because you can't go 125 miles per hour across, say, the Morganstown Waterline Bridge. And of course, tilt. The fact that SCR introduced a 390 for 1000 Robux and didn't make it tilt is just sad. The 221 in British Railway tilts, and it doesn't cost Robux. The SCR one doesn't. Additionally, possibly more importantly, real passengers. British Railway has AI passengers that go from stop to stop. Guards can check their tickets while the train is moving, and they are there. It makes the world feel real and alive rather than a bunch of deserted scenery. Additionally, a lot of trains have the realistic push to open doors instead of all of them opening at once. I don't understand why SCR hasn't even thought of adding AI passengers yet, because if British Railway can do it, and we know optimization can't be an excuse, why not just add them? It would improve the game a lot. Also, maybe some weather, please, even if it's just an on-screen effect. For Christ's sake, BR now has a suspension system. What are we even talking about? And still, the god-awful rails. I understand they're not the worst the game can have, but still, please mash them already. They are literally 2 blocks with planks as a decal beneath them. At first sight, British Railway might look more complicated, but it's really not. AWS works the same way, and the real difference is the emergency brake isn't an instant stop, but is still stronger than the real brake. Whereas in SCR, it instantly stops you. As I said before, the simplified driving system is intuitive and easy to learn while maintaining realism. The camera switching allows you to look at most sections of your train with the click of a button. You can even stop it in place to get really good departure shots of your own train. SCR, on the other hand, kind of. The problem in SCR is discrimination. The system is not easy to immediately learn, especially with a lack of a stop indicator. That's why 357s have a horrible reputation. Don't expect help from most players. You have to get good before you speak to them, because most don't want anything to do with 357s or trainee drivers. Additionally, the training system, while it ensures all dispatchers and guards are not horrible, depreciates the gameplay. In British Railway, you can press a button and be a guard. GG easy. You get on-screen prompts for what to do on the panel, and that's it. In SCR, first you need to join the group, then complete qualified driver training, if you can get to it, then complete dispatcher training, then complete guard training flawlessly until you can finally guard other trains and not even get paid that well. The driving system also doesn't help here. Because of the lack of stop indication, any assists for new players, or a tutorial, it's horribly annoying to get used to. Also, the buffers. In British Railway, the game forgives you a bit by not despawning you. SCR should do the same, especially when it has a less intuitive driving system. In fact, I think it would be better if these two systems are swapped. British Railway with the stop indicator and relatively intuitive driving system should despawn you if you hit the buffer, while SCR with its way less forgiving driving system should not despawn you if you hit the buffer. Now we have to discuss how these games improve through time. For that, let's look at the state of these games since the 1st of January 2023, when British Railway released. In that time, British Railway went from a small game with not that many trains to a large game with a lot of realistic trains, great scenery, etc. In that time, SCR had a new driving system, some station edits, and the Rayleigh Bay branch. I understand rebuilding like 10 stations isn't that easy, but when British Railway can create 15 new stations, make them even better, make them not bug on release, with realistic trains and tracks to boot in the same time, what are we even talking about? Now let's look at the two latest versions of these games. British Railway, version 1.3.4. Not even worthy of being version 1.4. We got a realistic Class 755 with great sounds, great liveries, and a detailed interior. A new branch with amazing scenery, and a beta suspension system within the span of 3 to 4 months from the previous update. SCR version 2.1. We got an expensive Game Pass with a 390 that doesn't tilt, and double variants of pre-existing trains. It took the same amount of time. Sure, now we have version 2.1.5, and they added the class 180, but it's still not much. It's one train that is not on par with British Railway's quality. Alright, you might say, maybe SCR got worse over time, maybe Metro is slowing down progress. Version 2.0, it was great, on par with British Railway version 1.3.4. A small amount of new, not too highly detailed trains, lots of scenery changes, new driving system and GUI. It was bigger than British Railway version 1.3.4 because of the driving system changes and core gameplay overhaul. But guess how long it took? 6 months. No. A year. No. 2 years. 2 years from the first version of version 1.10 to version 2.0. Alright, what about version 1.10? It took 2 to 3 months from version 1.9. It reshuffled the airport area, added a new extension and a new train. Alright, sounds great. Did the launch go well? Well... yeah, it took them a long time to fix all of the bugs. Version 1.3.4 in British Railway had a similar amount of content, took a similar amount of time to make, and had little to no bugs with a much higher production quality. Also, the James Street extension was being worked on previously. there were clear rails that sort of followed the path it ended up eventually having, so you could say it didn't take 2 to 3 months, but possibly longer, maybe 4, 5, or 6. Who knows, maybe even 7. I'm not exactly certain. I only started playing a bit after 1.10 released. The problem isn't the pace of updates, it's the quality of the updates. In the same time it took SCR to make a new driving system, British Railway went from not even being released to what it is now. In the same time, SCR got less optimized, while British Railway runs like butter. It only overheats slightly more, but it's perfectly smooth on my phone. Unlike SCR, which as I said, disconnects every 5 minutes. In the same time span, SCR didn't get a pantograph. British Railway got its entire map, all with functioning electrification, diesel smoke plumes, AI passengers, fully meshed rails, realistic sound effects, and more. And for the offshoot updates, specifically April Fools, British Railway goes all in. April Fools 2025 had the keyboard controls mixed up, a giant cat, funny horn sounds, etc. It overhauled the entire game for a day. SCR had Air Link to Lynn. 2024. I don't remember what British Railway had, but it was probably big as well. SCR had a 143 on Express. I'm not saying small updates are bad, but when the competition goes all in, I want something more than a 1-day temporary train. I want something more than 1 day of being able to drive Air Link to Lynn. I don't hate SCR. I love it. But I also love British Railway, and I feel like the SCR development team, for all of its good, really needs to step up their game. A game with 100 million visits should not run this poorly on the Redmi 13 Pro. Sure, it has more content, a bigger community, bigger servers, but it really depends on what the players want. If the SCR team doesn't get their shit together with the Metro update and future updates, the quality gap to British Railway will only grow, and when British Railway overtakes SCR in content and community size as well, it will grow exponentially until SCR falls into irrelevance. Also, please get rid of Express Tenure. Like, who the f